In the quiet bloom of apricot trees, memories linger, unspoken and unfading, beneath the dust of time and the weight of petals, where the past whispers through the stillness of an empty home and the gentle fall of blossoms along the river's bend. The road leading into town curved just past the river, where apricot trees lined the shoulder. They were old and thin, leaning slightly toward the road as though shaped by years of wind. In early spring, the blossoms appeared all at once, pale and soft, like the sky before rain. The narrator noticed them immediately, perhaps because they were seeking something familiar, or perhaps because they didn't want to look at the house yet. It had been 13 years since their last visit. The house remained unchanged. The same rusted gate that stuck when pulled, the same blue paint on the front window frames, chipped in the corners. The roof sagged slightly, and weeds had crept up past the steps. A few curtains inside were drawn back just slightly, as if someone had intended to look out but changed their mind halfway. Entering quietly, even though no one was left to hear, the familiar smell greeted them. Faint dust, pine floor cleaner, and something sweet that lingered like dried fruit. It had been their mother's house. Now it was theirs, though they hadn't earned it. The rooms appeared smaller than remembered, the ceiling lower. The kitchen table bore scratches from years of use. A half-full bottle of vinegar sat near the sink, left untouched. The funeral was small. Neighbors from long ago came by, some bringing rice cakes, others offering quiet nods. Most hadn't been seen since the narrator left for the city. They had aged in the way people do when they stay in one place. Slower, softer. The sister didn't attend. It wasn't expected. There had never been a fight, just too many missed chances and too much untouched space. After the funeral, the narrator lingered in the house longer than necessary. They told themselves it was for paperwork, for sorting through belongings. But perhaps it was because they didn't know where else to go. The city apartment felt too distant, too quiet in the wrong ways. Here, the quiet was heavier, but it made more sense. Old notebooks were found in a dresser drawer, each filled with careful handwriting. Most entries were ordinary weather notes, grocery lists, and mentions of aches and sore knees. In the middle of one, a page bore the father's name. The mother had written that she saw him at the market, thinner than before. She hadn't spoken to him, just watched him pass. She wrote that she didn't feel anything, then crossed it out on the next line. The rest of the notebook was read quickly and placed back in the drawer. Afternoons were spent walking along the river path, which hadn't changed much, though the benches were newly painted. A stray cat occasionally followed, close enough to be noticed, far enough to stay away. An apricot tree by the footbridge had split in two. The narrator remembered climbing it once as a child. The branch they had stood on was gone. An old photo album was discovered tucked behind some books on a shelf. It contained pictures of childhood birthday cakes, muddy shoes, and summer trips to the seaside. Most photos featured just the narrator and their mother. In one, the narrator stood near the apricot trees with a popsicle in hand, squinting at the sun. The mother was behind, out of focus, reaching for the narrator's shoulder. The album was closed and placed face down. Some days were spent cleaning the house without much reason, rearranging plates, and dusting already clean windowsills. On a softly raining morning, the narrator walked into town and wandered past the old photo studio. The interior had been renovated, but some old photographs still hung on the walls. One depicted the mother when she was young, standing next to an unfamiliar man. His arm was loose at his side, but his shoulders leaned slightly toward her. The narrator didn't inquire about the man's identity and left without touching the frame. At night, they sat on the back steps with a cup of warm barley tea. The apricot tree in the yard had started to bloom. Petals fell gently, collecting on the steps and the edges of their shoes. They didn't brush them off, just watched them gather. The sky above the yard stayed light for longer now. Thoughts turned to how spring crept in slowly, without making noise. A week later, the sister called. She expressed no desire for anything from the house, suggesting to keep it or sell it, whichever was easier. Her voice sounded tired. Little else was said. The call ended with a weight in the narrator's chest that didn't settle for hours. Old clothes were boxed up, some with tags still attached. The mother had been the type to save things for better occasions. An unopened gift from the narrator sent years ago for her birthday, a scarf in her favorite color, was found and left in the box. One afternoon, while folding laundry at the kitchen table, sunlight filtered through the window, casting long lines across the table. For a moment, it felt like being a child again, waiting for dinner, hearing the mother humming from the stove. But when the wind changed, the moment left as quickly as it came. The apricot tree was trimmed, removing only the dead branches, careful not to touch the blossoms. A few fallen petals were placed in an empty glass and watched as they floated. That night, sleep came near the window with the glass on the ledge. Back in the city, the days unfolded with a mechanical rhythm. Mornings began with the hiss of the kettle, the aroma of coffee filling the small apartment. The familiar routine offered a semblance of normalcy, yet an undercurrent of disquiet persisted. The apartment, once a sanctuary of solitude, now felt oppressively silent. The glass containing the apricot petals remained on the windowsill. Their vibrant hues had faded to a brittle brown, yet they were left untouched, a silent testament to the memories they encapsulated. Each glance at the withered petals evoked a cascade of recollections: the scent of pine cleaner, the creak of the old floorboards, and the gentle rustle of apricot blossoms in the wind. Evenings were spent in the nearby park, where cherry blossoms painted the landscape in shades of pink and white. Children laughed and played beneath the trees, their joy a stark contrast to the narrator's introspective solitude. The cherry blossoms fell in a flurry, carpeting the ground in a delicate blanket. It was a spectacle of transience, a vivid reminder of life's fleeting moments. The narrator observed the blossoms, noting their exuberant descent compared to the hesitant fall of the apricot petals back home. The cherry blossoms seemed eager to embrace change, while the apricot petals clung to their branches, reluctant to let go. This contrast stirred a sense of longing, a yearning for the quietude of the past. Nights were the hardest. The city's cacophony seeped through the walls, a constant reminder of the bustling world outside. Sleep came fitfully, dreams interwoven with fragments of the past. The mother's gentle touch, the sister's distant voice, and the warmth of the sun filtering through the apricot trees. The photo album remained unopened on the shelf, its presence a silent companion. The images within were etched into memory, each photograph a portal to moments long gone. The narrator refrained from opening it, perhaps fearing the emotions it might unleash. Time passed, marked by the changing seasons. The cherry blossoms gave way to summer's verdant embrace, then to autumn's golden hues. The apricot petals in the glass remained, now brittle and curled, yet still untouched. They had become a fixture, a symbol of the narrator's reluctance to move on. Occasionally, thoughts drifted to the house by the river. Questions lingered. Had the apricot trees bloomed again? Did the stray cat still patrol the river path? Was the house still standing, or had it succumbed to time's relentless march? The narrator contemplated returning, yet inertia held them back. The city, with its relentless pace, had ensnared them. The past felt like a distant dream, the memories fading like the scent of apricot blossoms in the wind. One day, while walking through the park, the narrator noticed a single apricot tree amidst the sea of cherry blossoms. Its presence was unexpected, a solitary sentinel of the past. The tree was young, its branches slender, yet it bore the familiar pale blossoms. The sight stirred something within, a gentle ache, a whisper of home. Standing beneath the apricot tree, the narrator closed their eyes, letting the memories wash over them. The scent of the blossoms, the warmth of the sun, and the gentle rustle of leaves all converged in a moment of clarity. The past was not a place to return to, but a part of them, woven into the fabric of their being. With a renewed sense of purpose, the narrator returned home. The glass with the apricot petals was still on the windowsill. Carefully, they removed the brittle petals, placing them in a small box. It was time to let go, to make space for new memories. The photo album was opened, its pages turned with reverence. Each photograph was a testament to a life lived, to moments cherished. The narrator smiled, tears glistening in their eyes as they embraced the tapestry of their past. Life continued, as it always does. The city remained vibrant, its rhythms unchanging. Yet within the narrator, a transformation had occurred. The past was no longer a weight but a foundation, a source of strength and solace. And so they carried the memories not as burdens but as treasures. The scent of apricot blossoms, the warmth of the sun, and the gentle touch of a mother's hand were all etched into their soul, guiding them forward.